Right now, while millions of investors are arguing over interest rates, while financial media is chasing the next hot stock, and while social media influencers promise easy money, one man is doing something very different. He's not panicking, he's not predicting, and he's definitely not gambling. He's positioning, because Warren Buffett understands something most people don't. Wealth isn't created by being right all the time. It's created by making calculated bets, and then allowing time to do the heavy lifting. And history shows that when the world's greatest investor quietly positions himself, smart investors pay attention. Not because Buffett is always right, but because he understands something deeper than the market itself. He understands human nature, and perhaps more importantly, he understands probability. And right now, his strategy reveals a lesson that could completely change how you think about investing. The difference between gambling and investing. Most people think investing is about prediction. They spend countless hours asking questions like, will the market crash? Will interest rates fall? Will this stock double? Will AI change everything? But Buffett approaches the world differently. He doesn't ask, what will happen? He asks, what are the probabilities? Because nobody knows the future. Not economists, not analysts, not billionaires. Nobody. But you don't need certainty to become wealthy. You simply need the odds to be in your favor. That's why Buffett calls investing a game of probabilities, not predictions. And that's the difference between investors and gamblers. Gamblers depend on luck. Investors depend on discipline. Gamblers chase excitement. Investors seek value. Gamblers focus on tomorrow. Investors think about decades. Why cash is a weapon. Something strange happens every time Buffett accumulates large amounts of cash. People start criticizing him. They say, he's too conservative. He's missing opportunities. He's losing to inflation. But Buffett doesn't see cash the way most people do. To him, cash isn't laziness. Cash is optionality. Cash is flexibility. Cash is power. Because when everyone else is forced to sell, cash gives you choices. And choices create opportunities. History has shown this repeatedly. During financial crises, market crashes, and periods of fear, Buffett doesn't panic. He acts because fear creates discounts, and discounts create opportunity. That's why patience has become one of his greatest weapons. Not speed, not predictions, patience. Buffett's biggest advantage isn't intelligence. Most people assume Warren Buffett became successful because he's smarter than everyone else. But Buffett himself disagrees. In fact, he once said something fascinating. He said, temperament is more important than IQ. Think about that. The world's greatest investor doesn't believe intelligence is his biggest advantage. He believes emotional discipline is. Because markets are emotional, people become greedy when prices rise. People become fearful when prices fall. And most investors make the same mistake. They buy high and sell low, not because they're stupid, but because they're emotional. Buffett understands something powerful. The market rewards patience, but human beings naturally struggle with patience. That's why so few people achieve extraordinary results. Not because investing is complicated, but because emotions are difficult to control. Why great businesses always win. Many people think Buffett buys stocks, but Buffett himself has repeatedly said, I buy businesses. And that's an important distinction, because stocks move every day. Businesses create value over time. When Buffett studies a company, he asks simple questions. Will people still need this product 10 years from now? Can competitors ease? Does management allocate money wisely? Can a company raise prices without losing customers? These questions may sound boring, but boring often creates wealth. Because great businesses compound, weak businesses struggle, and over long periods, quality wins, again and again. Think about companies like Coca-Cola, American Express, Apple. These aren't exciting lottery tickets. They're exceptional businesses, and exceptional businesses create extraordinary results over time. The real bet Buffett is making. Many people think Buffett's biggest bet is Apple. Others think it's Berkshire Hathaway. But I believe they're missing the bigger picture. Because Buffett's greatest bet isn't on a stock. It's on humanity itself. He's betting that people will continue innovating. He's betting that businesses will continue growing. He's betting that economies will continue expanding. And history has consistently rewarded that belief. Think about everything humanity has survived. World wars, inflation, recessions, financial crises, pandemics, political uncertainty. And despite all of that, progress continued. Technology improved. Businesses adapted. And economies moved forward. That's the bet Buffett keeps making. Not on perfection, but on progress. Why most people never build wealth. Here's something uncomfortable. Most people don't lose money because they lack opportunities. They lose because they lack patience. They want results immediately. They want quick gains. They want certainty. But wealth rarely works that way. Compounding takes time. Businesses need time. Investments need time. And unfortunately, time is something many people are unwilling to give. They jump from one trend to another. One month it's AI. The next month it's crypto. Then real estate. Then something else. Always searching. Always chasing. Never allowing their decisions to mature. Meanwhile, patient investors quietly allow time to work for them. And over decades, the difference becomes enormous. The power of calculated bets. Buffett never looks for certainty, because certainty doesn't exist. Instead, he looks for asymmetry, situations where potential rewards are far greater than potential risks. That's how calculated bets work. Not reckless risks, not blind optimism, calculated probabilities. Because investing isn't about winning every time. It's about winning big when you're right and surviving when you're wrong. That's exactly how casinos operate. They don't win every hand, but over time, probabilities work in their favor. Buffett understands this better than almost anyone, and that's why he focuses less on being perfect and more on consistently making intelligent decisions. Most people spend their lives trying to predict tomorrow. Warren Buffett spends his life preparing for the next decade, and that's why his approach looks boring. But boring is often beautiful. Because wealth isn't created by reacting to every headline. It's created by patience, discipline, and calculated bets. The world's greatest investor isn't trying to be right every day. He's simply trying to position himself so that time, probability, and human progress work in his favor. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all, because the future doesn't belong to those who predict it perfectly. It belongs to those who prepare for it wisely.